We're replacing those regularly.
We are, but they're actually here. They can't.
I cannot. I have to put my television on 40 decimals in order not to hear the noise.
My floor is vibrating, literally.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is the first I've heard that though.
Yeah.
You
Well,
didn't
these
tell me. I
new
haven't
motors
heard
are
that.
cool.
Now that's
She's a different boiler than her. She's the other
Yes,
side.
different
You haven't.
boiler.
I haven't heard
so
this.
see, I'd rather spend the
No, I was
money on
gonna
this
tell you
than
that.
carbon.
You're on different sides.
Okay. Yeah, they're on different ends. Okay, so
And
we
another
have
one?
both sides.
Barney,
I'm gonna do Lynn's and
Do we have-
is that okay?
She has carpet.
That's it.
Is that
She
in
has
the- is
carpet,
that
I
in the
do.
budget? I mean,
It's actually not in the budget. The problem is I am actually out of budget on this stuff. The velos make sense, but I am kind of out of budget. But there's a quality of life
No,
issue.
I mean, not, I realize for
What we could do
last
is
year's
we
budget.
could pull those
I'm talking about
existing
next
motors
year's
and
budget.
we could oil the bearings, but we're going to be blowing $300 a motor. The velos cost $700 to $800, and I hate spending $300 oiling bearings when I can get a
That's-
velo.
that's-
I
Well,
just
we're exactly at budget on building repairs and maintenance, which is where it would go, so, you know.
Okay.
So let's take that, let's consider
I
the things
think
we
that
would
they'll be
plan
done
to
before
spend
the end of
money
the year.
on that
Okay.
budget line when we're doing the budget.
A second, I have one more thing.
Sure.
I bought my, as a homeowner, I'm gonna speak now, not as a board member. I bought my unit 3 years ago. And the first thing I asked the previous manager is to fix the east side where I live. It looks like a ghetto, okay? No, mine is, you have not been in this side of the building. Okay?
worse.
And they said, well, we never did anything because the previous owner never asked. I said, I'm not a previous owner. You need to do something about it. She told me 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. She left, she did nothing. I've been asking Barney to do it.
She trained me in the 2 weeks.
That's right. I want that done, or I'm gonna hire somebody on the spring and bring you guys the bill.
All right, so we'll have to
What is-
budget that for
sorry,
next
what
spring.
is this
Who is
again?
she?
She's in a back
Hmm?
corner lot that
Who
no
is
one
she?
sees,
Carol.
and it's the back of 3300. And when I got here, it really did look terrible. We terraced it.
Oh, external grounds.
Yeah.
Right.
3,300.
We
Okay.
we put terrace in, but we're not done. We never finished it. We terraced
I
it
thought it was a carport.
and we
Yeah, I
ran
was like,
ran some sprinkler pipes, but it's not finished.
grounds. Awesome.
Yeah, is this the sort of thing that grounds could, ground staff
Yeah, the problem
could be
is that,
doing?
I mean, she's on the board, but it's a hidden spot, and we mostly work on the stuff that you can see first.
Right. That's what I was doing. Oh, we're working on things that you can see. I said, well, I see the thing every day.
Well, I must say that since one of the issues that has, sort of helped to launch the ship of, professional property management involves the way the grounds look. So I think we perhaps should consider that as being folded within that project and should be considered, as a part of it.
That's fair.
Right.
So that's my little
Right, exactly.
Unless there's anything on my list that you have a question on. Well, there's the draft budget. I don't know what, should we get into that now?
Bernie,
This is
I
just
got
a
a
draft, so
question,
before you
wait,
roast
wait,
me,
wait.
it's just to get it going, yeah.
For the rest of.
Oh, yeah, I make a mistake
no,
on this.
where is the delinquent list again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't.
And my unit's not vacant. I
Yeah, no,
live
it's
in my unit.
3150, it's 3150, 312, sorry about
Can that
that.
be fixed, Lisa?
Yes,
Awesome.
well, no, if you fix
I'm
it.
just hazing you because you're new.
I don't have.
I'm so new, I'm not even here yet.
Wow.
I'm vacant.
What I did was I did the delinquents on the assessment, so that's why I don't have the delinquents on the regulars, so. I will email you the delinquents on
Yeah.
regular HOA.
From both
So
months.
where is the delinquency on the assessments? Is that here?
No, I have it though, and I can get to that too. It's updated from what I gave you 3 weeks ago.
So how's it looking?
We're approaching 400,000.
But did you ever kind of work out how many homeowners have paid on any of the models?
Oh, yeah. We
So-
basically have 4 buckets that we've broken it down.
Okay, so do we have anybody who's poured nothing into any bucket?
Yes, we do.
What percentage of the homeowner pool does that represent?
It's about 40 owners.
40.
40.
40?
And then what's the next
40
tier?
40 owners?
Paid
The-
anything
the
at
four-
all?
Okay, so
Like
the four
$10?
the 4
18
buckets
units.
are nothing to under 100 a month.
Okay.
The
That
next
would be me. I pay 50.
The next bucket is at least 100 a month. The next bucket is a large sum of at least $500 up front, and then saying I'll pay at least 100 a month. And then the top bucket is following the request.
So we have 40 people in one of those
In
three
the
other
bottom
buckets.
bucket, yes.
Oh, they're in the bottom bucket.
I have 40 owners in the bottom bucket.
That
Who are
means
paying
that-
0 to 0?
0
What's
to
that
under
bucket?
100 a month.
0 to under 100, yeah, which will get you
Well, how
there.
many zeros?
Well, under
Not sure.
100 is, I
Up
can't
to-
even tell you when they're gonna be done paying. When
Well,
people
of
say they're gonna
course.
pay 100 a month, I know it's at least I have a 4-year payback.
And of those 40, how many have paid nothing?
Well, I'm just gonna I'll give you the numbers like this week, but I'm gonna say 20 have paid nothing.
Okay, they're gonna land in court soon.
Well, I sent a draft letter, and then you guys disagreed on when to do it, because I was gonna put this letter in with the billing this month.
Yeah.
And then the board didn't agree on doing that, and I'm about to send the bill. I mean, if you can agree by Monday, I can get it into the billing.
Will you resend just so we can find it easily in our
Yeah, I mean,
mailboxes?
it's that it says,
Anybody,
Just
this
in
is-
case anyone's
we're almost
lost
in
it.
It
December.
went to the trash
Anybody who
bucket,
hasn't
right?
paid
No, I
by
saved
now,
it.
No, okay.
I know exactly where it is.
that's 2 months overdue.
I'll resend it.
It seems to me, yeah,
You mean the ones that have paid 0?
the ones that have paid 0.
Well, that brings up the question of where are we at with my request to get copies of the bank statements.
We have them this
Well,
week.
we got a answer from the lawyer, so,
Right. What was that answer? I'm trying to remember.
it was, everything except for, there was like 3 items that he said we should withhold.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess what I could do is I could call a report, email it to the board and say, you guys happy with giving this out?
Right.
And I'll base it on what Graf told us is
Right.
acceptable. I'm gonna try to get you that,
That email didn't go out to everyone
which one I
from
just
the
suggested.
lawyer.
No.
Why not?
Jason and the lawyer pretty much handle the emails, and if Jason wants to forward it to the board, that's his call.
Well, actually, I think the whole board should know.
Well,
I've
he's
had
the
problems
boss.
with that for a very
this
long time.
particular-
Everybody always after the fact thinks everybody should know everything, but you guys
Well,
don't
they
wanna
should.
get 5 to 10 emails
I
from
do
Graf
too.
every week.
I'd rather the
Well,
whole
then you
board
should have
be
made this
informed.
clear because.
I did.
I have.
I have
you-
to.
Well, no, you weren't on the board when this came
As
up.
soon as I started, I said I
No,
want
no,
a
no,
copy
I
on it.
understand, which is too much.
The one thing I would ask
2 months.
is if you guys all got the lawyer's emails, you don't email the lawyer. You at least funnel
Well,
it through
of course you
Jason.
don't.
Is that
I mean,
fair?
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna be
I'm
the
just
conduit.
saying that
I am
the
not
board
gonna
well,
be
should be
funnel it to
forwarding
me,
shit.
everything.
And because I really want to limit the cost of a lawyer, so it can. We
Yes.
can
Right,
also, when I go down to
I
classes,
think
I can ask questions.
You
for
can
free.
deal with it and just forward the final or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
well, whenever there's been an issue that required, the board, some of this is just investigatory.
Mhm.
You guys really wanna know everything that goes on between every time I raise a question to the lawyer? I'm happy to ask
Yeah.
Barney to apprise you of all of that, but I've had
I
a number
don't.
of board members beg me to stop sending so much information.
Mhm.
So the idea that open, that this,
Do it.
some love the idea of knowing everything all the time.
Well, I
Others-
think,
There
you know,
are
that's why
technical
they're on the
solutions
board,
to
they
solve
should
all those
know
problems.
everything.
I would like to put some of those
Don't
in
you?
place.
Sure.
You
I've
don't
been doing
agree.
that for a while.
I
do.
Okay, good.
Right, this issue
Because it's
Perfectly
is not the same
capable
as
of
all
talking to the
emails
lawyer
from
on his
lawyers
own.
though. Right,
Huh.
there
But
are,
you
there's
should
lots
at
of things
least
that we
be
appreciate you
informed
fielding.
that's what's going
But if
on.
this is the report
Most
about
of it's
1237, the Colorado House bill that says we have to disclose all
And even what we have to do now
Right.
before
right,
that bill
right.
is
Oh,
financials
yes.
and things like
Right.
that this is explicitly about transparency.
Mhm.
And I mean, I don't think anybody's pointing a finger, but I would love to see the response from the attorney about what
Yeah.
we're obligated
Right,
to do.
no, sure.
Well,
No,
this-
just frankly,
in
and if I
particular.
were CEO and I were being paid, you guys would have all heard about this 10 days ago when I got the email. I mean, I agree that it's something that you should all know about, and it's something that we were gonna talk about.
Alright,
at some
I'll
point.
forward his,
There's no effort to try to hide a goddamn thing here. I don't have time for this.
I'll forward it to them. It's just, it was you, Lynn, and me asking what we can do.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
forward it
No,
to the
that's
board,
right.
okay?
That's
And then,
right.
based on the answer, I'll send you guys a draft picture of the bank statements
Yeah.
and stuff. And if you approve it, then I'll make hard copies for owners.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, what I,
at the time, it was clear that what the lawyer said was, go ahead with these stipulations. It's not a big deal. We can do what anybody, the most vigorous, requesters have been asking for, almost. So it's really
Yeah, I
kind
didn't
of,
really understand
easy.
why it was such a big deal not to give them out, because over all the years that I've been here, homeowners have asked for information and had no problem getting them.
Yeah.
So, Karen kept the books, she kept the notebook or something in the safe. It was all there. She wouldn't let him get on the computer,
Right.
but they were informed. So I never understood what is the big deal of not giving out the financials unless there's something to hide.
Well, and now we know.
Well-
We've heard officially from the lawyer, so I think
Right.
that's where we are.
Well, I think that was money wasted.
I mean, I've never had any trouble learning what I wanted, even when I wasn't on the board, so, you know, like with the assessment.
In the hope that we can
Demands.
prevent this particular flare up from flaring up again in January or shortly thereafter, because somebody said, I asked Barney verbally for this, and I didn't know I was supposed to do a written. One of the things that I've been talking to at least a few of you about is actually formalizing the process where people submit a written request
Right.
for this kind of document. Here's a section for rationale, here's why I'd like to see it, and then we literally just formalize the whole process, and that's something I'm absolutely happy to help put together. I can scheme it all up
Right.
if that's what you like.
We'll
Yeah.
work on that.
Cool, awesome. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah,
I
that's
think it's
great.
really important to give our
That
SLA for
incidentally
giving
is
an
how you're
answer.
gonna prove you didn't violate the law too.
There you go.
If somebody brings a charge of non-compliance with 12-1237, this written form he's talking about is your protection.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you're gonna be in court trying to explain it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like that idea. It's a
Well,
lot of paperwork, but
yeah.
the end
And,
result
and
would
part
be
of it
nasty.
involves this stuff about accounts, but it also deals with contracts, and there's gonna be a process that we are already trying to follow, but we'll be following it more explicitly. You're gonna have to have a process where we have to consider a contract. We kind of do it informally, but I recommend that we have a specific procedure that the board always appeals to whenever there's, something involving extraordinary expenses, where, the sort of thing involving a board vote, where we're seeking bids, where homeowners have an opportunity to look at the contracts before they're signed. We're gonna have to do that with the property management thing. That's part of the reason for the short list, so that if we're lucky and we vet all these bids, we're gonna be in a position to go, to look at a formal contract from whomever if we decide to go with somebody, and then that contract will be under discussion at a board meeting. And under this new law, we're supposed to give people an opportunity to look it over if they want to. And I would recommend that we just have a process by which it's just available. This is being considered, we're gonna vote on it next month. Come and look at it if you like, request a copy. I mean, because I do think that we have not been as transparent, but not because anybody's trying to hide anything that I know of, but because it's all being done by word of mouth, by word of email. I have trouble keeping ahead of the emails I already get, just from the HOA. And I have 2 businesses and 100 students, so who love to communicate constantly with their teacher. So
Let's set
It's
a
a good
date.
thing.
So Thanksgiving's coming up. That's a little rough for all of us, but why don't we say that we'll have something by December 1st?
This is for the document request
Yeah.
thing.
Do you want to work
And
on
I
that
can
with
work
that
on
kind
it
of a?
over
My Thanksgiving week's a little rough, but other
you
than
said
that,
that we have a solution.
does that sound like a good time frame?
Wow, it seems like you have a
Yes.
Well,
What about
I
a
do-
response
this is
time?
why I have
If
no,
we
like,
accept
this is
a
why.
request, when will we say we will give you all of the documents?
Well,
Immediately,
what I'm
1
hoping
day,
is
5
that they can
days?
be QuickBook reports that we're approving. So if it's a QuickBook reports, I can just hit a button.
Well, that's not a document though.
Okay.
So-
We've had requests for,
Well, we have the neat
Invoices back
scanner,
5
so I
years.
can also just have electronic.
PDF it.
I can PDF stuff and.
I just wanted to include that maybe on our written request, that we include our SLA of we will have an answer to you within 1 business day or 5
Okay.
business days or whatever we want, whatever we decide, whatever's
Yeah, that's all
realistic.
good.
But just to make sure that we communicate that, because I think that's been a real source of an issue as well, is people have asked for stuff for 3 or 4 months and it keeps getting shelved to the next meeting.
Right.
So I think if we say on that document you ask, you will get it within X amount of days, that will put
Is this
people at
something that
rest.
you can assign to somebody in the office to do?
Yeah. Sure.
Good.
Thank you.
But before I do
This is-
that, I'll work with Matt and get it all formalized on
Get
the
a process put
We'll get the
Yeah.
and
And-
let's.
And this is probably obvious, but also build into the process that you're gonna evolve the process as it was it?
Or,
There are new needs that come up.
The
I have a
the
copy of
formalize
it.
is the,
yeah, 12-1237.